Hey y'all. This is something I talk about all the time, but I haven't talked about it on here. So this is it's for everybody, but I'm especially talking to my people in the fields of service. And I'm not talking actually military service. I'm talking um, medical staff, physicians, teachers, uh, everybody, pilots, preachers, if you're in a field where you're providing a service, especially a human service. I know that, people provide all kinds of services, but human service to the public. Remember that you're providing a service. And that, I know a lot of times, I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know what made me think about this patient. I'll get to that. The thing is, I've had bad days. I've gone to work when I have had terrible days, things going on in my life people don't know about, been upset over something. But in 31 years, I have never lost my cool with a patient. I have almost, but I never have, and never been overtly mean to a patient. Hopefully not covertly, not intentionally. Everyone's been frustrated before, obviously, but the thing is, you're going home after this shift. It's what you have to remember, that you're not in a, medical field, for instance. You didn't get in this position, or maybe you did, I don't know, but you shouldn't have gotten in this position just to have certain initials behind your name, or to wear a stethoscope around your neck, which, by the way, not smart. I had a patient in an ICU bed in 1992 or 3, try to strangle me with it. Got himself out of restraints. He was a prisoner and had been shot by a police officer and had a dog sicked on him. Anyway, he got out and I had it around my neck. I was all of 25 years old maybe, and tried to strangle me with it. I don't wear a stethoscope. But you know what I'm talking about. Some people go into these fields because they want to be, look at me, I'm a surgeon or a pilot or a whatever. And that's not what it's about, y'all. These are fields of service. You're there to help people or facilitate people in some way. And so I hope that you remember that when you're taking care of people, that they're the ones who are afraid. They're the ones who are in pain. They're the ones that are unsure of what's going on, or it's maybe a family member. Y'all, I know people complain about the family. You know what? And put yourself in their shoes. If it's your family member in a hospital bed, you don't think you might be a little, yeah, I'd be a hot, stinking mess. In fact, I was. My son was hospitalized when he was 5 months old for almost a week at Children's Hospital with RSV. It was scary. And I wouldn't leave the room. And my husband was there too. I'm sure they were like, oh, these parents. But, when you're concerned about someone you love, you can't always think clearly. So remember that and be kind to these people. And just remember, you're leaving at the end of that shift. They are not. A lot of them may be staying. They may be staying for a week, a month, I don't know how long. And they may not go home at all. Or they may have family members who are concerned about all of those things and staying up there with them, sleeping on a chair. So just be kind and keep your own junk at home. So if you're having a bad day, just remember to, if you need to, which I've done this before. I had a bad breakup and I was on call one night for OB. And so I was in the OB call room and I was in there crying. I'm preaching to myself here, y'all. And they called me to go put an epidural in. And I had to get it together. I had to check myself. I was like, oh my gosh, this woman, it was her first baby. This woman is so excited. She's about to be the happiest day of her life, God willing. And I'm not going to walk into her room like this and rain on her parade. So I had to snap out of it and, dry my eyes and kind of get some juices flowing and get in a better mood and pull that smile together and walk in and introduce myself. So, you know what they say, if somebody else you're working with is having one of those days and you can sense it, y'all, the patients can sense it, your customers can sense it, your whatever you have, your clients, they sense it. emotions are palpable. You know, you can walk into a room and you're like, ooh. If your coworkers are having a bad day, or a family, or so, obviously a lot of the families are, you know that old saying, if somebody doesn't have a smile, give them yours. Sometimes all people need is a smile, a compliment, a, you know, touch on the shoulder. You know, you gotta be careful nowadays about that, but you know what I'm saying? Just a kindness. Or if you know them well and they're a friend, give them a hug. I mean, sometimes people, you don't know what people are going through, but the story I was going to tell you, which really made me angry. I was working with a nurse who, I was getting ready to go pre-op this lady to put her to sleep. And she came and saw me, and she said, oh, great, you're going to love this one. She's a real bitch. And I was like, huh? And so I went over, you know, I hear what she said, but I was going to go see it for myself. So I just walked over and said, hi, I'm Tracy. I'm going to be doing your anesthesia. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And I said, oh gosh, please don't be afraid. This is, you know, safe. I'll go through all this with you, but I'm going to be with you the whole time. And then she started bawling and shaking. And I was like, oh no. And I said, what's the matter? And oh God, y'all, I will never forget her as long as I live. She had lost, I think it was her youngest, she had lost her son, I think a year before. And he had been in a hospital, and I don't remember what was wrong with him, but they thought he was doing better. And so she had been laying up in the bed with him, and she said, they said he was doing better. I went to get a cup of coffee, and he died while I was getting coffee. And then she started just bawling. She's like, I want my baby back. And places like this remind me, this hospital gown, these beds remind me. And she said, I can't sleep. I don't, it was horrible. And so she wasn't a bitch. She was SCARED, and she was SAD, y'all. It was heart wrenching. And the worst part was, so, you know, got her to sleep, did the procedure, was when she woke up. You know, when you wake up from anesthesia, a lot of people, either A, they wake up just like they went down, which this lady did, or a lot of times people, when they come out of anesthesia, you can really tell what somebody's like when they drink alcohol. Because some people come up angry, some come up crying, some come up funny, and I'm telling you, it's how they are when they drink. But anyway, this lady was particularly sad, and she woke up bawling, screaming, I want my baby. I just want my baby. And y'all would fully admit, we were all crying at work that day. It was awful. So if you're crying for your patient, that's different. Obviously, that's showing empathy, sincere empathy, and that's okay. That shows you're human, and it endears people to you and lets them know their caretakers are human. But don't bring your own junk to work. I had an appointment today. If anybody today up there was having a bad day, I never would have known it, because they all greeted me with a smile. They were all kind. And that's how it should be, because, you know, even if it's just a routine appointment, nobody wants to go in and the people taking care of them, or, you know, your pilot, gosh, God dang, you don't want your pilot to be upset or in a bad mood. I don't want my pilot up there crying in the cockpit. Or your hairdresser. Okay, I've actually had that happen. Bawling while she was cutting my hair. It was awful. And then she put half my hair in foils, and she went out to smoke, and like the rest was not. And she was out there crying. It was awful. So yeah, you don't even want your hairdressers doing that stuff. So anyway, my message to you is, if you are in a position of service, remember that the reason you're there is not for you. The reason you're there is to serve others, and to make sure that you make it a pleasant experience for them, and give them a smile if they don't have one. And you'd be surprised how much it'll make you feel better as well. All right, have a good night.